of this.
You can ask me about what the technology is.
Yeah, what is Bitcoin, Mister? I want to trade it, but I don't know what it is.
It's a
So,
decentralized cryptocurrency.
okay,
The first, right? Yeah, the first.
It is the first. It
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
first cryptocurrency. Yes, that is a partial answer.
It's
That
the
is a
first
partial answer.
cryptocurrency. It's decentralized. Got all these words.
It has all these words. And do you
Yeah,
do you know what decentralized means?
yeah. You don't need one central entity to run it. Like
Okay.
it doesn't depend on any one group or person.
Okay, that is a better answer.
Yeah,
Instead of using like I don't know what the teachable term is or the technical term, like where you use part of the word like
yeah. You're not
decentralized,
supposed
you
to. I
use
know what you're
central,
saying.
you're not supposed to. But the other answer you gave where you said there's not one group or one party that is responsible or controls,
Controls it. Yes, that's a better answer.
that is a better and complete answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what distributed is?
Distributing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
giving out.
Okay, yes, that is one definition of that's distribution. Like you're distributing
Yeah.
something.
What do
Uh,
you mean then?
okay, so in the open source terms of distributed, it means that you spread out. Like you
Okay.
have, it's not constant. Even though like Bitcoin is decentralized, if you actually look at the blockchain explorers that you have out there, and you look like where the nodes are, a lot of it is kind of still highly concentrated in the West, Europe. You have quite a bunch of it in Korea and China,
Oh
but
right.
it's
Yeah.
not distributed in the sense that it's very global. Now there are some nodes in South America. There's even some in Africa, like little dots. It's kind of like if you look at like, you ever see those NASA maps where the lights of the world? You ever see that in
Yes.
Google
Yeah.
Hangouts where they put that and you see like North Korea and there's like nothing?
Yeah.
Or you even see parts of America where like there's Chicago and then you kind of go a little bit this way and see, oh, that's like was a Milwaukee and stuff like that. And then you
Yeah.
have like you get to North Dakota, South Dakota, or something like that, and it's like
It's nothing.
blackness. Okay, so distributed is, it says even though Bitcoin is decentralized, is not as quite as distributed as it could be. And it's
Okay.
very important if you want to keep something that's open source and is not prone to attack. Uh, you want it to be as distributed, so far spread out that there's no way you could take it down. For example, you hear these stories about celebrities all the time, right? Where they literally go to like some far off place and they'll know from one movie. I was recently watching some YouTube. I went down some YouTube rabbit hole, and Richard Gere said he was going on a mission in somewhere in some country. He was going to help, and he's literally saying like he's in these wooden boats and he's going to these people and he's trying to help them and stuff like that. And as soon as he gets off the boat, they're like, "Pretty woman, man, pretty woman, man, pretty woman, man." That's what they know him for. It's like Michael Jackson or probably Kobe or LeBron James. Like people know these names. They know their faces. They might see them on T-shirts or hats. They may not necessarily know their work so much, but they know of them. And it's a concept or idea of a meme. And that is a distributive concept if you think. It's just at the basic element essence of something. And that is what Bitcoin is trying to achieve. It's very decentralized. It's very you can't necessarily take it down, because if you, in order to destroy Bitcoin or take it down, you would literally have to take down the internet in and of itself.
Yeah.
But for it to be very functional and for it to be very effective and efficient globally, it needs to be more distributed. So you might hear this term sometimes associated with Bitcoin, and it is fairly distributed, but it's not completely enough to where it's really global, like that global concept. I mean, like where everybody knows Beyonce or Barack Obama or something to that extent. And we're getting there, but we're still far from that.
Right.
So since you were in trading, I wanted you to look up some trading terms, and let me see if I can pull up the information of what a candlestick is.
Did you email this to me?
I don't think I emailed it to you. I told you last time you had to look this up yourself.
I don't
did
remember.
email you some trading terms where a couple of different videos about how to trade or what's going on in the trading world. They were two quick short ones that I sent you that would be good for you to watch if you haven't had the chance to do so. Let me see. Let me go to the edit. I think I put it in the show notes. Edit. So I think the terms we were talking about was that's my stuff. Candlestick, speculation. I think were the two big terms.
I know what the candlestick is.
You do know what a candlestick is?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And consensus. Okay. So what is a candlestick?
A candlestick is a kind of chart. Well, candlestick chart is a kind of chart that they use to like price movements and to analyze like stocks and whatnot.
Okay, yes. That is something you will see quite often in trading. If you ever watch either trading videos or traders, or when you go and you look on the trading chart, if you're looking for whatever particular coin you're looking at, you're going to look for the candlesticks and you're going to look at the movement and the price movement. So it's important to understand this term. It's even important to know where it comes from. I didn't know this came from like Japan and rice trading.
Yeah.
And yeah, and now it's something that's highly refined and highly known. So when you see traders talk about this, or you see somebody that you're following that's in the trading movement, at least you have an understanding of the term and what it is and what they're pointing at in the graph. So that way you could follow along and make your own informed decision.
Right.
It's important to know what that term is.
It's like each candlestick is a day, right?
It can be a day.
Or like any block of time.
It is a block of time,
yeah,
basically.
Okay.
With cryptocurrency, because it's 24/7, it's very global. It could be minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
It really can. You don't see that necessarily in other trading fields for the simple fact, like, for example, here in America, we're shut down because of Martin Luther King Day. Other parts of the world are not. They're open. But because the market's shut down, or like the market's shut down on Sundays or Saturdays over the weekend, you don't have the trading volume or stuff like that. Everything fires up between Monday through Friday, so you go by days or hours. But because crypto is 24/7, you can literally have candlesticks going by minutes. You can even tell when certain regions are up and trading. Like you can know when like China wakes up, or when Europe wakes up, or when America wakes up, or even to some extent, even Australia, just by segmenting which different blocks or regions of the world are waking up and start trading, and you can look and see the effect on the market. And it's a really real-time thing, and it's important to understand these trends. You can see analyzing like which regions of the world are into what specific thing, and you can do what is called, the other term I try to look for is arbitrage. So do you know what arbitrage is?
I don't. I've seen it used though.
Okay, so arbitrage is this concept of where you can try to purchase and buy something at one price, sell it within the same field on a different exchange for a higher price. So for example, before South Korea started having some issues where the government kind of shut down the exchanges for a moment, I think some of them are back up. South Korea, as far as USD dollars, even though you have to trade in their currency, the won, was higher in trading than that of Western markets or USD markets. So if you purchase Bitcoin, say right now, which is trading at 14,000, it would probably be priced around 14,500 or maybe 14,700 on the Korean markets. So if you have accounts on the US markets and accounts in Korea, you could buy your Bitcoin, sell it in Korea for a profit, and then turn around and kind of go in a circle like that. And that's called arbitrage. And sometimes it used to be very wild swings in the very beginning, but now it's getting very, very narrow. In certain cryptocurrency coins, it might be just $1 or $2 in price.
Wait, so the price gaps, like from here in Korea or whatever, why is that?
Markets, that's called arbitrage.
Yeah, I know, but why are the gaps so high? Like, why are there gaps at all?
Some of it has to do with what's called liquidity. I want you to write that term down. Some of it has to do with the whole concept of the value of a particular currency. Because people are purchasing these coins in fiat, they have that power of the fiat. So for example, the pound is actually stronger than the US dollar.
Oh, okay, right.
So if your pound gets you more than you would with the USD, I believe the won, of course, is trading lower than USD. So you have that factor in it. And again, you just have liquidity and demand, and also how much actual cryptocurrencies are in those regions. If you look at the regions that have had maybe were first movers into the market, primarily Europe and the West, you'll see there's a lot more coins trading in that area. And then I would say, like, Asia, South Asia, like Korea, Japan, Singapore, those type of regions, Indonesia and Malaysia, and those areas, and even Australia to some extent, we're probably, maybe I would say, like a year behind. Even they did have some people coming into the market a year behind everyone else, like Europe. So there's a bit of a lag in some of the coins, simply because they didn't get into the space as far as mining and stuff like that till maybe a year after the West. Now some of these newer coins that are being created, they had the experience and they're on it, and so there's more liquidity and you see a higher volume of trading. But something like Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, they don't have as many coins within that regional space. Now people are, again, using arbitrage and they're selling their coins in that region, and it does bring up liquidity, but some of those markets take a little bit of time, and that's why there's a bit of a difference.
Gotcha.
For some of the other markets, for some places like South America, certain southeastern countries, some of the African exchange markets, I personally think is a bit of a vulture, economic vultures, where because you have access to this, people have this need for it. Like for example, in Venezuela, where they've been in constant riot mode for like over a year.
Yeah.
Inflation is crazy. The government's cracking down. Protesters, you see this all the time on a weekly basis. There's food shortages. The dollar's tanking, and you'll see Bitcoin, where people need to transfer their wealth, and had for a while, we're actually using Amazon, where they would buy Amazon gift cards, purchase food and necessities, get it in Colombia, and smuggle it into Venezuela. That was a means of doing that. But if you look at the Brazilian or even Venezuelan exchange markets, they were like $500, $700, even $1,000 higher than the U.S.
Right.
And I think some of that is vulture economics, where these people need a demand and you can just take advantage of it, and take that fiat and go. And some of it is, that's just what the price is. I personally not sure which one of those is the truth. It might be a mixture of both, but you'll see that in some places, in some markets. The biggest example is Zimbabwe, which just kicked out their dictator. Okay, and hopefully, knock on wood, they're not going to have a civil war. This guy is supposedly going peacefully, but they did have one exchange in Zimbabwe, and that coin was trading at least about $4,000 to $3,000 higher than the USD. It almost came close to 6. So it was 10K here in the US. It was 6 over Zimbabwe. And so, but the thing is, in those type of regions, they'll buy a fraction of a Bitcoin instead of a whole amount. So there's that type of utility happening on there. But these are things you kind of have to think of and look in the marketplace to decide, what type of trader you're going to be.
Right.
But it is what it is, and that's where you see kind of the fluctuations. But those markets are very, very tiny and small. They don't really affect the whole arbitrage process. It's mainly the big boys like Australia, Korea, Japan. Used to be China, but China's a little messed up right now. The U.S., Europe, England, stuff like that. You got to go across the board, as well as the decentralized marketplaces. They're really starting to gain momentum and gaining price, because people, they don't want to give up their information, AML, KYC, but also they want to trade the different types of coins that might not be on these different kinds of exchanges. So you're seeing those type of marketplaces pop up, where they don't have to go through a centralized authority like Coinbase or GDAX or Gemini or Kraken or any of those type of places. Like for example, Binance doesn't have that, but Binance stopped accepting new users. So there's BISC that's not having that issue. There's a couple other places. I'll show you. I'll give you a list of decentralized exchanges. I think BISC is probably the best one. It's been around the longest. It has a very strong development team. They have a very strong roadmap. They're very slow to add coins onto their marketplace, in the sense that they want to make sure that the coin has actual blockchain development, a marketplace, and they're not just putting a coin out there for people to speculate. So what's speculation? That's the third term I asked you to look into.
Speculation. Yeah. I don't have an answer for that one. I had it for Candlestick, but not speculation.
Okay. Well, what do you think in your best educated sense of the word?
Speculate is kind of attached to the definition of like not necessarily guessing, but estimating.
Yeah.
Based on what you know.
It is very much based on what you know, but as far as market terms, it's let's see, it's you're kind of guessing what you think the price is going to be, so you place amount of money into that particular marketplace. So, for example, okay, Litecoin's not having too much movement, but we can go, for example, like Litecoin. It's like around 250, right? So you buy a bunch of Litecoin hoping that the price is going to jump to maybe 300. So you make some purchase and buys. You have buy orders out there, and you're going to hold because you're guessing at some point within whichever date you set, maybe 30 days or 60 days, it's going to hit that $300 mark, and then you're going to sell. Right. You see that with a lot of lower coins, like, for example, that's called like this pump and dump, and that's another term I want you to write down, because you got to be wary of that, because if you try to chase the market, if you try to chase prices, you can get very much hurt, because if you buy at the high and then all of a sudden it plummets. Yeah. So speculation is that where you're betting on the potential future of something, but you might not have actually any kind of hard facts or data. And even if you do, it doesn't mean that that's what's going to occur. And you see that all the time. And speculators is probably one of the reasons why a lot of these coins are as high as they are, beyond than just the utility of the technology behind it, or people actually using it as a functionality. And so it's important. Speculators and traders are very important as far as pumping liquidity, or as they, that term I want you to learn, pumping capital into the marketplace. But that only holds for so long. Eventually, either the product is going to function or it's not. And if it doesn't function, then there's going to be no market. It's just going to go poof into its existence. And some people might end up being, there's another term I want you to write down, bag holders. Okay. So, are there any questions that you want from me?
No, I don't have any questions. I've been researching a lot of like altcoins and whatnot. The ones that I've caught my eye right as of now are Monero, Stellar, and Roblox. Those are the ones that I've been researching.
All right. Monero is a privacy-based coin.
Yes.
It has a very strong developer team. It has what is called a white paper.
Yeah.
I gave you the Satoshi Nakamoto Bitcoin annotated one, right? So any good coin is going to have a white paper. It's going to have a strong white paper. It's going to have some technical details in it, just like the one I gave you. And it's going to... Seriously, guys? I told you I was doing stuff. These dogs, they bark at everything and anything. Hold on, they're going to keep barking for a bit. Falcor. Come here. No? All right, then be quiet. So you want to look at that in the coin. And Monero does have a white paper. It has a very strong development team. One of the key benefits from Monero is that, beyond the privacy emphasis, is it's not a clone of Bitcoin. Yeah. It's not taking the code base of Bitcoin, duplicating it, and doing a few tweaks. It's completely from the ground up, a completely different coin. Right. Okay. Stellar, I want you to do more research on Stellar, because there's problems.
Yeah, I've been doing a bunch of research on it. I've seen a lot of the good stuff, a lot of the bad stuff.
Yeah, the same people that were part of Stellar did Ripple.
Ripple, yeah, the main dude.
Yes. And I had Stellar very early on. There was a bunch given out, and then a lot of it got taken or stolen away when they did an update. So there's a lot of bad blood within the community when it comes to Stellar. Right. But it's one of those coins that people are speculating, and it's gone through all these different kind of price pumps and dumps. So I caution you on that coin, but I encourage you to do, have an understanding of what is a good coin and what is a bad coin, and do you care about it? Because all you're trying to do is trade the different movements, the pennies and nickels and dime value, and get fiat. That's something you have to make for yourself. Roblox, I've been hearing a lot lately. I personally have not sat down and read the white paper or gone through the development team. Yeah. But I would be curious as to why you're interested in Roblox.
I like Roblox. It can handle more transactions, and they're faster and whatnot. So it's more one that will people will use more as a currency and less focused on. Because a lot of these coins, their main project isn't really the coin, you know, technology behind it and what they want to do with that. But Rayblox is one that could potentially be used as a coin itself, or as currency itself.
Okay.
And it just seems strong so far.
Okay. That's intriguing. I haven't heard that explanation before. I've heard that they're supposed to handle more transactions.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yes, and I haven't looked to see like what kind of math that they're doing, like what it is they're using to do that. But I'd be interested to look into that myself, and maybe we can talk about Rayblox.
Yeah, definitely.
And talk about Monero the next time we talk, so we can talk about these coins and what their value is, because I think Monero is trading pretty high for Rayblox.
It is, yeah.
Rayblox, I think, is fairly within a price point that I think you can probably purchase and hold and maybe trade if you choose to do so. Stellar's still pretty low down there as well.
Stellar's like 60 cents right now, I think.
Yeah, I think it is around there, and stuff like that. What marketplaces are you going to look at
right now? Just CoinMarketCap.
Okay, stop looking at CoinMarketCap.
Really?
CoinMarketCap is crap, and here's
why.
One, they will take any type of advertisement on top of their banner if you don't have ad blocks. And it doesn't matter if it's a Ponzi scheme, and there's been several that have been up there. The way they calculate their market cap, just like 2 weeks ago, they caused almost like a flash crash because they took the Korean exchanges out of the pricing points and gave nobody any warning. I don't think they have enough detail as far as the different coins that are up there for people to make an educated decision. And third, my understanding, in order to get listed on CoinMarketCap, which some of the exchanges do as well, which I have a problem with, you have to pay CoinMarketCap to get your coin listed.
Really?
And I fundamentally, ethically have a problem with that, because I think information should be free. So you should be sourcing your information, verifying your information, and just put it up there. If it's a shit coin, it's a shit coin. And you can maybe label that or something like that and mark it off. One of the biggest Ponzi schemes that are going on and looks like it's going to collapse is BitConnect. They had banner ads and they listed it as a coin. And there's a few other coins up there that really are just and stuff. And so people that are new like yourself, they look and they see that coin and they're thinking, oh, that's jolly good, that's trading in this, I should buy that, when not fully understanding the complete information. And granted, each individual should do their own research and stuff like that. But I think if their information source is faulty, it's kind of hard to make a good decision. So I use CoinGecko. I think it's more clear. I think it has a better market cap pricing point. It also gives you like the percentage of development on like how much is being developed, what the social media, like how many people are talking about it, what the liquidity is, like the total amount of different exchanges and what it percentage wise. So it gives you kind of a full picture idea of, you know, what this coin is doing. Because even if, say, for example, some coins might have a high social media output, it might be because people are trying to pump it, because its liquidity might be only 23%. So they're trying to manipulate the price in this very small market thing. So, but it's just like, if it's a quick gauge, like a Wikipedia, and you know you have to go do further research, then
I'm not using it as my like end all be all.
Yes, please don't use it as your end all be all. And I'll give you a couple other ones that I have found over time that have proven to be pretty well, and it's just a good way to kind of gauge and see what's going on in the market. What else have you been doing?
Really just kind of watching these few coins that have caught my eye, and watching some YouTube videos, and going and paying attention to the news and stuff.
Okay. So
and I've been discussing it with a lot of people at my work. They're really into it, so I've been discussing it with them.
Okay. I did see that there was any like meetups in your area. It seems, I remember talking this with Mom. It seems like that whole area of Stafford, between Stafford and I would say up to past Potomac, past Woodbridge, that whole like block is like, if you get below Fredericksburg, there's a lot of like activity down all the way towards Richmond. And then if you get like past like Woodbridge or past that area over towards basically almost all the way to DC, like Alexandria, there's a bunch of like computer meetups and like
Yeah.
co-camps and stuff like that. But it seems like you guys are in like this dead zone.
Yeah, we're kind of lame.
Yeah, you're like, where there's like, no, we're not going to educate ourselves. We're not
Yeah,
going to
no.
have co-groups or meetups or any like that. And there's a shit ton of people in your area, and it just baffles me because I think there's what, a couple different community colleges in your area. There's all these different educational points, but there's no Bitcoin meetups. There's no Raspberry Pi or how to code stuff. It's just very, very weird. Maybe I'm not searching the right way, but maybe you guys can start up your own meetup, because it's a great way to find people like yourself that are in this space and get different ideas and have a better understanding of what's going on in this space, like what people are buying, what people are purchasing, what they're using. It gives you a better perspective and better information, and maybe just even clarity about, you know, the technology and the different types of coins out there.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it's good that you're talking to people and bouncing ideas and figuring it out. Have you made any purchases yet?
No, I'm not 18, so.
Well, there are ways. We'll talk about it offline. But that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to go over those terms with you. The only other thing I would think of is, have you been using the Google account I gave you to look at those videos, or have you just
No, I haven't. I haven't logged in. I've mostly been going on my own. I have the baker at my job. He's big into it, so he gave me like a list of YouTube people to follow,
Okay.
and I've been looking at those for so far. Yeah.
Okay. Well, forward me that list so I can check myself and see. Yeah, this is good. This is good. That other person might be nah. Because there's a lot of YouTubers that started out really good, and then there's this thing where when your channel gets pretty high, and even though my channel's not high and I've been in the space for a while, I even for some reason gotten these emails where you will have ICOs or people that will say, hey, I'll pay you X amount of Bitcoin to pump my coin or promote my coin. And you'll see that happen to where all of a sudden the YouTube channel changes and they're getting paid like, you know, half a Bitcoin. Especially last year when it was not that high, and now that half a Bitcoin is quite a lot of money. So it'll be interesting to see who they're talking about, stuff like that. I think that's pretty much it. I just think we need to bone up on your terms there. I'll see if I can find a good financial book for you, like a beginner's financial book that'll help you grasp the concept of trading. But it seems you have a good sense. You're already hunting out the marketplace there, and considering that 2 out of 33 coins are pretty good ones, seems that you have a good grasp about what you're looking for. You just need to determine whether, what type of trader you are. Are you trying to stack up fiat, or are you trying to stack up Bitcoin, or are you trying to do both? Are you in it for the long haul, So.
Gotcha.
So we want to talk to, what do we do? I'll probably have to review the video to find the terms, and I'll just resend it to you.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I totally space out what they are. Are there any other additional questions you want from me or anything like that?
Well, that's all I got.
All right, so we'll save the offline conversation, because I think I sent you something to help you with purchasing and buying.
Okay.
And we'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Okay. So this was a good conversation, good talk. So let me end this live video. I'm trying to clean up my computer, so everything's all wibbly wobbly.